Hey, we got 4 guys here. We want to interview them right now. Jason, Keith, Frank, and Steve Lummer. Come on up to the seats. Let's come up real quick. The hot seats. The hot seats. Hey, Joe, would you do me a favor and have a guy help you move this thing right here? It's got all kinds of stuff all over it. I'll get this off for you. Hey, real quick, we want to introduce you our equipping tool for 2017. Thank you, sir. We're really, do something you've never done before so you won't get what you've always got. Okay? So, yeah, we can. Thank you. He is, man. Look at that guy. He's fantastic. So we begin to pray about, what do you want us to do in year 4 at Discovery? What's next? How many have ever asked what's next for you? So you got to be careful when you ask that question, because God might answer you. You got to be careful, what's next? And so we begin to go to Nick's Feed Your Face, which this year I've gone too many times. And we began to have lunch together and just pray about what's next. And we really don't know the future, but we know that He does, that God does know the future. And we began to discuss what does it look like for people to become disciples of Christ because they're hungry for Him. What is that going to look like? What would it look like? And so what we thought we would do is start this discussion with you. And one of the core values of Discovery Church is to get people outside so God can speak to their inside. How many still kind of like that? Okay? Get people outside so God can speak to their inside. So Frank and I, the old guys, so one day, yeah, you know it, bro. So one day we had just got done with doing Havasu Pie, and I came back, I was exhausted, I was tired. And then the week that we did Half Dome, that was like a 22-mile hike, and I was like exhausted, And I said to my friend, I said, man, we're the outside church, but sometimes I feel like I want to be the inside church on the couch, And I will never do that. It's just kind of a joke. But Frank and I have been in ministry for 35, 40 years together. So we're talking 80-year-old guys here. And he's been a youth pastor and planning a church in Oregon and Canada and in California. And I'm doing the same thing in the Midwest. We don't even know each other. And all of a sudden then I move here from St. Louis and he moves here from LA. And then World Map ends up having a working relationship with Liz Whitwell and my daughter, and then we meet, and then I'm like, man, I just want to go over to his office and just talk about the Bible and other stuff. And so we began to talk about ministry and laugh and have just laugh about what we've been through and everything. And then we began to pray for you. And then these two birds, we're talking, Jason just turned 30. Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Spring chicken.
Yeah.
So we got the dads here, right? And then Keith's 25 with the wisdom of a 70-year-old. And so these guys are working at camp and doing all kinds of outdoor stuff. And I thought, where can we take this? And I began to pray about it, and these guys were praying about it. And we came up with something we want to present to you, roll out to you today. It's just called School of Discovery. That will begin January 11th, and then these guys are Friday, Saturday. So they're going to talk about their path, and we're going to talk about our path. It's really not like university, like you have to pay thousands of dollars and get student loans to go to. We're not doing that. We're going to have 8 weeks on Wednesday nights for the biblical studies, apologetics, and intelligent design that Frank and I'll do. And then these guys are going to do outdoor leadership and ministry. So let's start with the outdoor part right now and just kind of go out there and just tell them what it is. If you are interested at all in some deeper questions, right after the service, we will meet you in the cafe, and you can ask specifics and all that. It's also on all the social media and the Constant Contact newsletter, the details of it. What is outdoor leadership, Discovery Outdoor Leadership?
Yeah, so January 14th, it's a Friday. We'll be kicking off Discovery Outdoor Ministries. Jason and I have been working on this. Just sort of structure-wise, we're going to meet Friday evenings in classroom. And then that very next Saturday will be application day outside, which could be anywhere from a couple hours to all day. Maybe we'll even get unexpectedly benighted one night, which would be kind of fun. But yeah, it's the main point I want to drive home about Discovery Outdoor Ministries. I want to leave most of it unknown. But the main point is, yes, we're going to be learning some outdoor skills. But if we stopped there, we would be falling completely short, in my opinion. So what it is at the core is us as a community, Jason and I being a part of that, all meeting each other at our actual, like where we are right now, and building each other up to reach our potential in Christ. You will be developed as a leader. What that means for you might be different than the next person next to you, whether you want to be a better leader for your family, at your work, in your own personal ministry. You might get a calling to your own ministry on this course. Similar thing happened to myself. But yeah, I'm just so excited. I've been praying over this thing, and I just have this feeling, man, like I'm just so excited. And I'm most excited to get poured into myself by whoever signs up. That's what I'm most excited for, is just to develop an authentic community, build each other up, go from actual to potential, and see some real spiritual transformation. That's our goal, is spiritual transformation, not outdoor skills. Yeah. Anything you want to add?
No. You want me to say something, so I say something?
I just feel like I'm carrying the team here a little bit. my back hurts.
Oh, sure. Yeah, so some of you that went to Supai and some of you that saw the pictures and everything like that, and then just the genetics of Discovery. If you've been here for the 4-year stretch, or you've just seen or heard about the history of it, we believe what's going on here is really moving towards the purpose of Discovery, not just so we can have a Sunday service. And that's really where the direction we want to go is God made all of this for us, not this building, but the outside to enjoy in his creation. And life can get a little redundant, a little bland at times. And I know some of the times that I've really been spoken to most in my life have been outside, doing some crazy things. Sometimes I had no idea what I was doing. Sometimes I had a pretty good idea. But that moment of awe is a gift from God. And that's something that when you experience that, when you first go into Supai, or you see the Grand Canyon, those moments of awe, and just outside beauty, but also, I've had a moment or two of awe where God has just spoken to me, where it's just sitting on a rock, in a river, and doing things like that. And we really want this to be something like that, to where it's like God is going to speak to you. God's going to show you some things. And like Keith was saying, you're going to be developed as a leader, whether that be at your house, family, job, or you find a calling. For me, I think I found a calling, outside, and some crazy stuff that I never expected in my life I'd be doing. But now I'm extremely grateful for that. And that's kind of what we want to lay out for you. And then just, if that develops some passion and things in your life, that's really what we want to do. We want to get you out there and just let God speak to you. So that's all I got to say.
Yeah, these guys aren't just talking from a book. They are talking from real life experience. Really, the reason Jason, I believe, is here with us is his experience on the Virgin River in Zion National Park. As he just sat there, I told him we're going to separate for a couple hours, and we're going to pray together. When we get back, I want you to spend time with God out here. God succinctly spoke to him by the Virgin River. What a wonderful time. So Discovery is a little bit John Muir and a little bit John Wesley. So John Wesley, not John Wesley Powell, but John Wesley the evangelist, through whom which the entire eastern seaboard in Europe was touched in the 1700s. So our goal is to have a split personality, to be a little bit John Muir and a little bit John Wesley. And to John Muir actually was a wonderful believer. And he took 2 books with him as he traveled from Wisconsin all around the United States. One of them was the Bible. And so we want to utilize the John Muir part of Discovery, and which, by the way, let's give it up for John Muir. If it wasn't for him and Teddy Roosevelt, there are no national parks. So the John Wesley part of it is prayer, scripture, biblical absolutes, and that's where Frank and I are coming. I'm really looking forward to co-teaching with you, Dr. Parrish. And no, really, I am. Guy who's just got a wealth of knowledge, and you talk about intelligent design, you're looking right here at 2. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. And so Frank and I are going to do the apologetics, biblical studies, and intelligent design. Frank's going to do 4 weeks, 4 Wednesday nights, and I'm doing the other 4. And if you'd like to kind of grow deeper in God's Word, and it's not going to be us, behind a pulpit pointing the finger at you and saying, this is the way, look at us. It's going to be discussion. There's going to be some podcasts that we're asking you to listen to, so maybe side books that you could read on those 8 weeks. And the purpose of this is not for us. The purpose is for you, to build you up in the most holy faith. Frank, what are we doing? We've been talking about this for a while. What in the world are we doing, man? This thing better work.
It's one of those times where you've talked about it so much, you go, well, what were we
doing? Right.
I don't want to repeat everything Pastor has told us already this morning, but I want to say to all of you, whether these are things you're familiar with, and it might be a brush up for you, or it's things you don't know, we really want to hand to you not information and not just knowledge, but a perspective on God, the world, and what it means to live as a Christian in a postmodern society. We want to deal with critical issues that all of us face, not just kind of preachers are famous for answering questions nobody's asking. And we aren't going to do that. And these are not, you sit down, we lecture you. There's going to be a lot of discussion involved. I don't know about homework or not, but we're going to give you options for things you can look at. We're inviting a lot of discussion. It's a time to really learn together as people. Recently, I ran across a poll taken amongst religious people, quote-unquote religious people, who say they qualified as religious because they attend church every week. And they asked 2 critical questions. And those questions were, is there more than one way to salvation? And if you are good enough, will you go to heaven? Well, the interesting part of it is that 68% of these church-going people said, yes, there is more than one way to heaven. And yes, if you're good enough, you get to go to heaven. And that sounds great, and it preaches great, and it makes people comfortable and happy, but unfortunately, it's not the truth. And what we want to look at is the truth, not as a hammer, and we're the anvil, or we're the piece on the anvil, but as an opportunity to really open our hearts and minds and learn what the Word has to say and how we respond to people in our society today. So that's just a brief on what we're going to do.
The cost of the course, if you'd like to take one, is $25. If you want to take 2, we got a blue light special, it's $40.
Get them while it's hot.
Yep.
Sign up while they last. No, and if that is a burden for you, a hardship, we've had folks come up and say they would scholarship sponsor anybody that wants to go to the School of Discovery. So that's just going to cover the cost of all the materials and stuff that we have for you.
That's not per night.
That's for the whole class, yeah. 25 for the 8 weeks. Say that?
So 2 is 16 weeks.
2 is going to be, they're going to be following the same track. These guys are going to start the Friday after we start on Wednesday. So if you want to sign up for both, then you'd be going Wednesday night, Friday, and Saturday, which for some might be too taxing for your schedule. So we want to let you know that if you want to take both classes but not all at once, this is our winter semester. We will be doing it twice a year. Okay? And the end game here, and thanks for asking that question, the end game here is for interns to come that would love to come and learn this kind of model and possibly plant churches or whatever. That's one of the desires that we would like to see. But the main thing is that discovery becomes more of a disciple that Christ wants us to be. Okay? So that's what's going to happen, Natalie. Thanks for that question. Wednesday night on the 11th, we kick off, January 11th, for biblical studies. Friday night, these guys kick off for outdoor ministry. It's just an hour and a half for us.
Yeah, while we're talking nuts and bolts, one more thing I forgot to mention about Discovery Outdoor Ministries is, yes, it's Friday night classrooms, Saturday application field day. But for our 8th week, it's going to look a little different. We're going to have a 4 to 5 day trip at the end of the course, which will be 4 to 5 days of backcountry travel. So yeah, just a nuts and bolts thing, so you can kind of get that in your mind and prepare for that.
Yeah, so when you're hearing this, you're going to be having like, wow, how are we going to do that? This right here is, they're going 4 days out in the wilderness to do, and actually Keith and Jessica are leaving in May to Shram to teach in outdoor leadership ministry, but we want to do that some of that here. Our deal is 6:30 to 8 o'clock on Wednesday nights at World Map, okay? So are there any other questions you guys might have? Yeah, Lauren?
Will you sign up? Where do we pay?
Sign up today right after the service. You can come and see me. And then you pay just to Discovery. You can pay on the kiosk or online, however you want to do it. And then just designate that School of Discovery. Any other questions? I know it's kind of a different way of ending a service, but I wanted to get this out to you because we really feel this is what God's wanting us to do for 2017. Okay? I wanted to present this to the entire church, or at least half of you that are here today. Yes, Lauren?
Where's the classroom for the outdoor?
It'll be at World Map as well.
And then also, we've got some pretty cool places in Prescott that the Saturdays will happen, okay?
Prescott and beyond, yeah.
I gotta say that, go ahead, Jason.
Sign up to the day of, because we, like, once class starts for the outdoor, I know we probably won't.
Say that again, so they'll know.
So you can sign up to the day of the class starts, but we would prefer no one to try to sign up like halfway through the course, just because of the structure and how we're teaching this. Yeah, it's really building up. It's about building up leadership, and it's kind of one of those things we want you to be there from the start when this thing starts. But you can sign up to the day of, of the class if you need some time to pray, think, whatever you want to do. But yeah, we're really I know on our side, I don't know if you guys feel the same, but on our side, we're definitely, how it's led. We don't want to really take anyone 3 weeks in. I know that sounds bad, but yeah.
No, it's going to build upon the last class. So you can sign up all the way to the day of the class, which is January 11th for the biblical studies. And we will meet every Wednesday night for 8 weeks straight. And then at the end, there'll be a certificate of graduation or a certificate for you that you went through it. Okay? Any more questions before we dismiss today? All right, cool. How many excited? Come on.